right.
On today's DNVR Nuggets podcast, one Nuggets player is already on the injury report. Another one's already making their impact felt. And a very surprising player is in the best shape of his life. All of that and more from today's DNVR Nuggets podcast. First practice. Practice, not a game. Not a game. First practice, baby.
Training camp?
Well, it's not even really a practice. Sorry. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR show.
Let's go.
Friday edition coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your front range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Boy, are we in a good mood today.
We're back.
We are so back.
In the preseason.
We're back in the preseason. I'm no way, man. Don't even bring that energy here. It was high energy at Denver Nuggets practice today, the very first one. Even if there were some concerning things, there was lots of optimistic things. And to break it all down, I got Brendan Vogt.
That's right, guys. Freaky Friday episode here on the DNVR podcast.
Did I see you walking to work today?
You did see me walking to work today. I was checking out guys' calves on the way in, and I thought
anything good though.
Get to work. Also, is this the size bump you get in this chair?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah,
that's the real reason we put me there.
Holy smokes, dude. Look at me. Adam looks like a little baby next to me.
Then over here, of course, D-Line Co.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Guess you guys got to go to practice today.
Oh, you've been working really hard, though.
Oh, yeah, you know me. Just up there.
Damn. My dream. You work harder than anybody at this company.
Yeah, well, you joke, but...
then rounded out the show, Harrison Wentz.
I'm glad nobody can impersonate me on this show.
That's true. That is true. It is impossible. Later on in the show, man, are you guys ready to be righteously indignant today?
Yeah, why not?
I'm awake.
Because Kevin Pelton, who really just plugged some numbers into a machine, spit out that the Nuggets are going to suck this year.
I'm actually mad about this one.
So let's be mad about that later on, and then we'll be happy because Altitude Television has a new deal, and it's really fan-friendly. So we're going to break all that down. We're going to do 2 segments today on Denver Nuggets practice. And I'll just start with you, Wind. We have some notes in here, but I just want to start about your big picture, I guess, sort of takeaway from day one. You always get a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes from practice. So what was your big picture takeaway?
My big picture takeaway continues from my big picture takeaway from Media Day. It's that Russell Westbrook right now seems like the big story around the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Michael Malone talked about him today. You talk to people around the gym. They're singing his praises too. The Russell Westbrook effect is happening with the Nuggets right now. He walks in the gym. Everybody says there's different energy when Russell Westbrook's on the court. He was the first one in the gym this morning. Michael Malone loved that. He's got energy. He's got an edge to him. The gym's louder when he's there. So the Russell Westbrook experience could not be off to a better start, I feel like. And it seems like the most prevalent storyline around the team right now.
Yeah, and we expected it, right? We talked about it for a couple weeks leading in. It's also probably the easiest note to play, to be fair, if you're on the Nuggets side of this fence. But we even talked to a couple folks after practice, no microphones around. Is this real? And no hesitation. Russ brings his own energy, and we're already at risk of overstating it, except for the fact that it's the obvious story, and it's the players have mentioned it as much as we have. And it is a mixture of, I think, well-intentioned competitiveness and fire that the Nuggets have not quite had. I mean, maybe Bruce Brown is the closest, but so you hope it sparks the team, but I also hope it can be a lightning rod for some joy, because I do think joy went out the window last year. It was a slog, I thought, for the guys. And I think Westbrook is a guy who's already told us that part of his intensity comes from deeply loving playing basketball. And hopefully that can permeate, because I think the Nuggets could use a little bit of that juice,
So D-Line, just hearing this, obviously you weren't at practice today, but I really think this is real, that it's not that you need an entire team of Russell Westbrooks, but one can really open everything else up. And I really do think from everything everybody said, it's only been one day of practice and only a handful of days in the gym. But it does feel like that is an immediate sense everybody gets is like, oh, wow, the whole dynamic is different now. There's energy.
Yeah, they hired a new boss. They really did.
A boss?
They did, yes.
New sheriff in town.
Absolutely. He is, he is there, not exclusively, but at least in this portion of the season, it's clear like he is, whether he's being asked to or he's taking upon himself to fill a leadership void. And that's what like strong personalities do. They come in and they just command the room. They just make it bend to them. And yeah, I mean, I agree. It's good to get like new energy. It's like they're going to have to like work out. I'm sure they're going to have to work out little power dynamics, which I think,
I think you're
guessing,
right.
I mean, again, like, what do I know? But I'm assuming that that's what Jamal is kind of giving us. But that being said, like, I think it's great because, again, we said this yesterday, like, that is what the Nuggets were missing. Like, they just didn't have that guy to step up and go alongside Jokic and, like, stop the bleeding.
Well, Nikola Jokic said it, when he was asked. It's so funny they give us Jokic on the first day. I feel like that's the worst day you could have given Jokic because we literally talked to him yesterday. He had a 2-hour practice, and it's like, what does he want to give you? But he said if there was one thing, he mentions Russ and the energy. Christian Braun said it, and Michael Malone said it, and he said a lot more. Let's play the clip here, Kel.
Well, Russ, man, like Russ is he's a game changer. You just love the energy, the voice. You can hear Russ coming. First guy in the gym, he was here working out at 8 a.m. today. So for a 17-year vet that's accomplished everything he's accomplished, I just love the intangibles that he brings us. I think that's going to raise the bar. We're going to be a more competitive team because of that. He's going to push guys. He's going to challenge guys. He's going to challenge me. And I think we're all excited for that.
Man, I love this. And I will say this, man.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. in the gym, first guy. I've heard, by the way, he's a morning guy. I don't know why I know this detail, but that he's an early morning workout guy.
Just so you guys, I was
believe
also
it.
in the gym at 8 a.m. this morning, but
that
I don't
right?
want to flex. Different gym and probably a little less intense of a workout.
Did everybody hear you coming?
Did you set the tone for everybody
Did
else?
they
because I'm
notice
gassy in the morning.
you were there?
They're like, "Are you tall enough to use that machine?"
A little pat on the back, though, for DNVR. I mean, one of the nice things about this last day is, a lot of the like main themes that we hit on the summer about why are guys being brought in, there's some different stuff. Like, it's kind of nice that Russ comes out right away. He's like, I'm here to push Jamal. And everybody's like, yeah, the team needed this energy. There was a void of it, and that's the primary reason he's here. It's just neat to see that which was conversation for the summer is now day one of camp, and that is the story.
If I find out that one member of the front office saw Dune 2, I'm going to know that they listened to this podcast
know it,
intently.
man. Yeah. Another interesting note, though, Wind, Malone asked Russell Westbrook to speak to the team yesterday. I thought that was very interesting.
That was very interesting. And, I mean, there are guys that could speak to the team. Nikola Jokic could speak to the team. Jamal Murray could speak to the team. I don't know if I would trust those guys to have as big of an impact on a speech to the team as Russell Westbrook. Like, you would just be confident that Russell Westbrook would know what to say in that type of situation. He'd come with it. Like, he would be the right guy to step up in that regard. And the sense I get is Westbrook's embracing his role. From everything we've heard, you would have to come to that conclusion. The leadership role, setting the tone, being the first guy in the gym.
Right.
To go back to some stuff he was saying yesterday about why he came to Denver, because they play the right way, to play with Jokic. The Nuggets have always been this team near the top of the West. They're a contender. It was kind of the same exact stuff that Bruce Brown said when he came to Denver. And they also had that relationship with DeAndre Jordan. So I was thinking about that too. Like, both those guys immediately seem to be playing the same type of role.
Yeah, and I think this stuff is distinct from the basketball. And I do think on the court, Russ is going to be probably close to an average minimum point guard. It'll probably be less of a smooth ride and more of an up and down thing. So, and we can't just expect his energy to like be the Band-Aid fix for everything. But this is the time of year where you would think you'd be hearing about it, where you would hope it would pop up, where you would hope the sort of intangible kind of impact would be just at least a talking point. And
that stuff right now is almost more important than the basketball aspect of everything.
That's right. And that, I think, is why, like, the truth is it's a minimum backup point guard signing, but it's, how is it different than Reggie Jackson? I even think it's less than on the court. It's this, Russell Westbrook is a name and a player and that just hasn't been in Denver before.
He's got some motion with him.
He has motion.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, there are some parallels, not as much on the court, for when Chris Paul went to Phoenix and like he showed up, he got Devin Booker going in the right direction. Right. He like really came in and became the general. Obviously, he was also then facilitating. Like he was
still really good.
He was still able. He was not just thinking and leading. He was also conducting. But there's just something to bringing in like an adult for a team, especially if he is primarily, you know, pushing Jamal probably through his play, like making sure that Jamal, but then also literally working with kids on the bench to help guide them. I mean, should it play out how it could, I mean, it really could just be an absolute home run of a signing.
And I think the obvious question is like, look, we are doing the Arrested Development "Why Not Us" meme, as everyone else has with Russ for the last 4 years. Yeah. But I do think there's a real answer to that question, or at least you can try to give an answer. And like, look, Russ is veteran. I have movement. I'm a big time star. I love the game and I play hard. Like, I don't think that's what a LeBron James led team needed. I don't think. I think it's probably damn near feudal with like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, it'd be terrible.
But Denver is a very, very good team that, for whatever reason, seems to lack this specifically.
That's why I'm specifically high on it. That's the thing that Russ has as a personality is actually a specific need for Denver. He wasn't the only guy that got the call out today. The other guy, Dario Saric, the team's really excited about Dario Saric.
Dude.
Really excited.
Smart, high IQ player who could do a bunch of things on the floor. Did he cook this summer?
I wonder if that's one of the 9 players or one of the other ones.
Well,
he's one of the 9 real players.
One guy threw a bucket of cold water on the Saric thing. It was maybe needed. Malone, a little bit today.
What'd he say?
Well, it was not a bucket of cold water. It was a slower roll a little bit. I think it was
that he's not Jokic.
Joker
he's not
of the
a real
second
player.
unit. Well, Malone said the only way there's a Joker of the second unit is if Joker is playing with the second unit. I mean,
I think Malone just loves his little one-isms. I think that's what that was. But even just talking, as you say, have conversations around, I was just like, where's he going to rank amongst the smartest players? He's in the conversation. You know, he's in the... I think the consensus on him, one thing I heard, somebody telling me about him was that he's really strong with the ball. You can't speed him up, just like Jokic. So, like, you trap him or whatever, but the play hasn't developed, and he's a guy that just doesn't care. Like, it's the same with Jokic, right? Like, if you try to pressure Jokic, it has no effect on him.
Yeah.
Saric, has that, and then if you ask me, we always talk about who's going to be training camp MVP. It's almost always one of the smart guys or the hardest working guys.
Right.
I think Saric is going to be one of the guys that, like, 3 days from now, it's like, oh yeah, he's got it. He's got the offense.
He's so smart, you could say he's the Jokic of the second unit.
Well,
like that would kind of make sense.
Yeah.
AG said at Media Day that you guys don't really get the impact that Dario Saric is going to have, and he's definitely the guy who they added this summer who's gone the most under the radar.
Yeah.
And who we've talked about the least. Probably because you just kind of know what you're going to get from Dario Saric. He's a guy, I think, from the start of the season, until they're ramping up to the playoffs, he's going to be a consistent, reliable guy who you know what he's going to do out there. We'll see what happens in the playoffs and how much he plays, but they needed a stable force, a stabilizing guy at backup center, and Saric should be that guy.
One stretch with
just fits.
With the bench where we got excited, and I don't know if I could even put a date on it now. It all blends together. But Vlatko was playing. I don't think he had been hurt yet. Might even have been playing with Zeke. And there was a little bit of like, oh man, there's a guy that can kind of read the floor and make a pass out there at the second unit. And we haven't seen a ton of that. And I think, respect to Vlatko, who I think is a better player than most folks have gotten to see. Like Saric, I think, is a level above that of like a guy you throw out there on a second unit. He can make some good reads. He can, I know we talk a lot about defense and transition. It's probably their best path. But goodness, I would love for a couple of half-court possessions to look like real basketball, and hopefully Saric plays a role.
And I think the Nuggets are pretty confident that he's going to be a really good fit because I think they looked into getting him at the trade deadline last year. They've been interested in him. They've looked at him and thought he would make sense on the second unit for a while now.
And he is huge. Like, he's bigger. Like, I was thinking of him as Vlatko Čančar size, maybe slightly bigger.
He's big, man.
He's a full-on Russian nesting doll, Vlatko. You know, like, he's the outer shell. And then on top of that, he was asked, or Christian Braun was talking about him today, and he was like, I just remember when we played against him last year, how hard he was to game plan for because you can't switch. So, like, usually in a second unit, you're trying to just switch and guard. And he's like, with him, even as big as Christian is, that's a no-switch player.
Yeah, I think that he has really gotten bigger in this league. Like, I think he started off kind of Jokic. Like, my earliest memories of him are him being kind of slender and like kind of much more of a stretch. I think he's gone through a Jokic type of.
Might have.
Like,
he's got like a wide waist, you know, not even fat, just like a.
That's what I mean. Like
stocky guy.
He's like a Slavic oak.
Yeah,
also.
that's a great one.
Like Nikola Jokic is. So
a lot of oaks over there.
A lot of oaks, dude, and most of them generally wearing tracksuits.
So true. Well, let's take a break. On the other side, there was one piece of bad news. Peyton Watson injured and is out. And also, I want to tell you, right on the other side, I'll get to it. The player who's in the best shape of their lives, you'll never guess it. And there's kind of a funny story behind it. On the other
Wow, I cannot wait for that.
Guys suck.
Guys, very excited about a new partner with us here at DNVR.
Whoa.
It's Blue Chew.
Oh, thank God.
Thank
Let's
God.
get the air horns going for Blue Chew.
Help me, please.
They say first impressions vote are very important. I don't know why I said vote.
And it seems right.
It's not in the copy.
I can be the punching
What
bag for this
about
one.
lasting impressions? That's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew helps you boost your confidence in the bedroom so that you can stay hard and perform at your very, very best. Eric just spit out his drink on that one.
You want a 4-quarter performance in the bedroom.
Absolutely.
You don't want to blow a 20-point lead.
Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. Does it work? Don't think you need it? Try it for a month for free. You're going to love it, and your partner's going to love it as well. We got a special deal for our listeners with Blue Chew. Try Blue Chew for free when you use the promo code ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay $5 in shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code ALLCITY to receive your first month free. BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
A lot of great concerts in Denver. If you didn't know, if you're a transplant, if you're new, if you're just visiting, the great acts, they all come through, from comedy to music to, of course, some of the greatest basketball players of all time. In fact, some of them live here. Shout out Jokic. If you want to go to any of these events, you can with Game Time. Putting you in the best seats for the best price at the last second. I can attest, Anderson .Paak will be at Red Rocks in early October. Eric, in early October, you should go get tickets. They're still available. My girlfriend and
What's
I,
the date?
she's real. We got tickets today on Game Time.
Nobody on this look until I've had a chance to look.
Yeah, nobody.
You
look.
guys can't look for Anderson .Paak. It's
We
sold
got
out.
a great price, and we, even knowing the concert's just around the corner, we knew we could probably get a seat with Game Time, and boy, we got some great ones. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Filters out all the fluff to show you only the good deals. When the ticketing app wave started, it got very overwhelming. You thought you had a good deal in front of you, but had you checked everything, forget it. You just need Game Time, and you just need the Game Time Picks filter, and you are good to go. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it, Eric?
Game
It's
time.
game time.
Game time.
Nobody talk to me. I'm looking something up on a site.
Real quick, so, DeAndre Jordan was big in bringing Russell Westbrook over. One thing that's interesting about Westbrook, it really is kind of the first superstar caliber player to come through Denver that wasn't grown through Denver,
Yeah, of course.
Has his own trainer, does kind of his own trading stuff. It appears DeAndre Jordan maybe also shares said trainer, and perhaps not coincidentally enough, the old man in the best shape of his life. Michael Malone even went out of his way to give him a shout out. And I saw him today, by the way, like as he was walking around, because right after Malone said it, and I was like, it's true, man. DeAndre Jordan looks ripped, lean.
Wow.
He looks incredible.
There's a chance he can get into the real 9 guys group maybe with this.
Yeah, he heard
with
the
this
back
trade.
end
maybe he
available.
maybe when Calvin Booth said that, he meant like that mother effer is not real. Like
Yeah,
the
that's what it
plane
was,
lady.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's so in shape that he's not.
He's not real, dude.
What do
Yeah.
you think of this? Like DeAndre Jordan to me doesn't even need to be in shape. I don't think like that. But it's kind of cool that he is in elite shape coming into the year.
Has the body given to 1% of people born.
1%.
His life will not end when his basketball career does. He's just tuning the machine he was gifted from God himself.
Yeah.
And, good on you. Like I wasn't given that Rolls Royce.
Can you imagine if 1% of the population was DeAndre Jordan size? That you greatly overestimated.
Yeah, I'd
that.
probably jump off a bridge.
Probably 0.1%, or maybe even less.
0.001%. Anyway, I thought that was cool. But the not so cool part of this, Peyton Watson apparently injured sometime in the last, week or two. I'm told. I think it was sometime around 10 days ago. Pulls a hammy and is now out with that. Being cautious, Michael Malone said will not play. Likely, he didn't totally rule it out, but said likely not to play in either of the Abu Dhabi games.
Yeah, and that was a pretty quick declaration,
Really was.
from Malone. He was asked like, any chance he could play? Nope, he's probably not going to play. So
Yeah, why?
yeah, they're ruling him out of that pretty much.
Hamstrings, man.
It
It's
sucks
hamstrings.
because hamstring soft tissue thing. That's not how you want to start the season, as
I hope he
we
doesn't
saw
go to
last
Abu
year
Dhabi.
with some Nuggets players.
Like he just stays back in rehabs.
I mean, those can linger in some way or form for 82 games, man. Even if it starts
That's
a
what I
trade.
mean.
Like if you don't really get a break, they like hamstring. You got to stay off a hamstring. Then you think you're good, and then you got to stay off the hamstring some more. And that's not really a luxury NBA players have.
Yeah, it's just for a guy like Peyton Watson for that to happen to, it sucks. It's kind of not a great situation for him to start the year. Like he needs some momentum early on in training camp in the preseason. Like that would do a lot for him heading into the year. But he's starting the season behind the 8 ball. So not great.
Nice. The 8 ball. That's
Yeah.
his thing. Yeah, I do. This is at risk of like overstating and reading too much into it. Like we joke about the training camp MVP stuff. It's really more for me, like, who are the names that Malone's really eager to talk about kind of catches my ear. And right now, Peyton, I think, seems lower on the list than Christian and Julian. And we just we haven't heard a lot about Peyton right now. So to Wynn's point, like, might have been awesome if he could have hit the ground running and had an awesome preseason. But health is the biggest concern. So, like, shut it down. He doesn't need to play.
Could this impact his season, though, is the real question.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
and I agree. And you don't want to overstate it, but let's say a guy misses all of preseason, doesn't play in any of the preseason games, or maybe just plays in the last one. There is a momentum, not only with Michael Malone, but just with everything. You didn't get the reps in. Are you as fine-tuned as everybody else? There's a little added pressure. So I actually look at this and say it's a storyline.
Remember Christian Braun last season. He was hurt the entire preseason, ankle injury. He started the year off very slowly and had a bad first half of the season.
Yeah.
So it can definitely linger, and hamstrings are the type of thing that can stick with you for sure.
Totally unfortunate thing, man, here. And I think
sucks.
Peyton Watson, one of the most important players for me, just X factors, coming into this year. And it's one sort of
if you
chopped down the
want, if
knee.
you want some kind of silver lining from a team perspective, you could say this
This is
clears
Zeke
the
Naji's time.
this clears the deck in a sense for Christian Braun. It may have already been cleared to be the unquestioned 5th starter outside of potentially Westbrook. It's
No,
like,
Julian Strother yesterday at practice.
Oh,
Michael
interesting.
Malone said that the starting shooting guard spot is down to 2 guys, or he said that those 2 are going to be competing for it, Strother and CB.
And in that case, I mean, it gives a little bit more clarity. Like you really want to get to the point where one of the guys has been picked and they're now like working under that assumption and paradigm, so they can like prepare for it. So, that's. I mean, it sucks obviously, but it's. Potentially, hopefully they're just being cautious more than
I mean, I think
reactive.
for sure, but that's the thing about hamstring. Soft tissue injuries are the toughest ones because you just like have to.
Yeah.
You're healthy. Okay, let's add 2 more weeks just to
Yep.
make sure you're healthy deep
exactly.
underneath. One last little house cleaning note here. The Nuggets, Michael Malone today, they're flying out on Monday to Abu Dhabi. It's a huge day, and he said they're going to practice Monday right before. So practice, hit the showers, and then head out of Dodge. And the reason is he put it as he goes. You're going to fly 17 hours to Abu Dhabi. Next day is going to be, what did he call it? A horseshit practice or something like that?
Yeah.
He was really on one. He said,
He also dropped like two 80s references.
I've got him right here.
I
He
knew
said,
you'd have them.
He said, I'm not getting on no time machine. Meaning when we get there, we can't get Monday back. So we're going to do a Monday practice, not try to make up
I don't
for
think
it.
that's an 80s reference.
No, he didn't.
Terry Pluto, Loose Balls is
There
where it
you
comes
go.
from.
Yeah.
He also said, the horseshit practice. And then he said instead of taking the bus to the game out there, he'll take a camel.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It's like a little,
Malone says he doesn't. Remember we asked him this if he practices these things, and he says he doesn't. But didn't that one totally feel like
The camel?
Yeah, like-
Well, I don't.
Racing is the official sport of the UAE. Fun fact.
Wow, thank you, Kale.
well,
Great
this is
fact there.
While we're on fun facts, Loose Balls published in 1990, so close.
Oh, so 90s reference.
Close,
There you go.
sir.
There you go.
I don't think Malone practiced that one, but that was definitely like the 10th time he said that today.
You're right. You're right.
He's just probably going around the office saying that.
This is so true.
This is what I do.
Camel.
This is what I do. I wake up every morning with one joke. I'm like, I'm going to get this thing off.
You tried on like Vode, and then you tried on like Kale, and
Yeah,
then
Kale never reacts as strongly as I want, so then I take it out on him on the show.
Yeah. Just laugh harder, Kale. So, I mean, this is the silly stuff we do on a podcast that talks about a team literally 365 days a year. But
Sick.
what
No,
early
not
takeaways?
literally.
What early? You've been in the observer, so you've processed all this information. What early sort of takeaways do you have
We've
that
got,
maybe are different from how
we've
you
got a
came into it?
mature team. That's not a surprise, but it is like clear at this point. Like,
Christian was very mature, by the way, today. I mean, in that there was a lot of people trying to spoon feed him things to say, like, I'm better than ever, I'm tougher than ever, and he wouldn't take them. He's like, hey guys, talk doesn't matter. He's like, I'll either show it or not, kind of attitude.
yeah,
I'm like,
man,
cool.
it's like, geopolitically, countries that are led by young people are aggressive, kind of off.
Really?
Yes, because
interesting, okay.
that's what happens. This is like a cyclical thing. You
All right.
lose your old wisdom,
Okay.
and like hotheads take over.
Okay.
Houston Rockets hothead team, led by young people that don't know any better.
Yeah.
Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant in a leadership position.
Yeah.
Denver Nuggets, team that has wisdom.
Yeah.
And also energy. You can't call this a young team anymore.
It's really true.
But we have young guys that come into the fold, and they're trained by the older dogs. Like when you get a second dog, like they come in, they take on the personality of Nikola Jokic, of
Right.
Aaron Gordon, of like all these guys.
Is this because yesterday I said my dog trained my other dog in one day?
I did
this
learn
a-
this metaphor.
Yeah, I think you did. That was a success.
Yeah, you did.
I learned all my metaphors.
I thought you were going to transition in terms of government talk into Abu Dhabi, but
no, it's just like
you went a different direction, which I'm very relieved about.
We were holding our
yeah. I
breath
mean,
over here.
there are ways you could go there geopolitically. We
Yeah,
won't. But
that's
like
where I thought
the
you
point
were
being,
headed.
like, yeah, dude, like the Houston Rockets, they don't have old wise leadership.
Yeah.
Nuggets do, so you get young guys that act like old souls.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into like my word of the day from yesterday. I just feel like the Nuggets are comfortable and kind of settled with the team they've got. Like they seem a lot more. There you go. They seem a lot more at peace and relaxed about the team than everybody outside of the building does.
Yeah. I think that's good. Do you have a takeaway? Kind
Yeah.
of just early impressions?
Yeah, mine actually was. I was just going to do the Peyton note because I think the Russ note was the other one. Energy is good. Energy should be good. It's day one of training camp. As Malone said, then you show up and you're sore the next day. Is the energy still good? And then you do that across all the practices, all the games. So the energy should be good right now. I say this every year. It's not that winning media day or training camp is the best thing you could possibly do. You could either win it or lose it. And that's all we've got so far. And so far, we're hearing the right things. And I like that Russ is a main character. And honestly, I even think DeAndre Jordan being in shape is like his best friend who's a psychopath in this way is here. He's probably like, guess what, bro? Like, you just have to be in good shape. I'm just not going to let you not be in good shape.
He's in great shape because Russell Westbrook is pushing him, and they're buddies.
And they're buddies.
And they're sharing this train.
He's got a
sharing this
workout
trainer.
buddy?
And
Oh, my God.
So, Peyton Watson, Jamal Murray, does it extend there as well? We've said it 100 times, but it's the hope. And so far, so good in terms of the Westbrook stuff and what we're hearing.
Yeah. My only updated take, and it's again only a slight update. I'm really excited about Saric. I always was, but I think I'm a little more excited now. Just kind of everybody's excitement for him, seeing him and how enormous he is.
Bro.
His enthusiasm. There's also guys come in and they all kind of say the same thing, but Saric seemed to be a little extra. Like, no man, this team is a dream. Guys, this is what I wanted to play on. I wanted to be with this group.
We said last year we would trade Christian Braun for Dario Saric.
Well, you did.
I said that.
Did.
I
Yeah.
believe
Harrison
in this
almost
guy. He's
cried.
going to be dope as hell. Just
Yeah.
watch.
He's going to be
Hey,
dope.
we
as
didn't
hell.
have to trade Christian Braun.
I know. Listen, best of both worlds.
I actually buy that Denver works for Dario. Easy to say that stuff, but I think it's a fit. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, great accent.
yeah. Thick accent.
Thick
Just
accent.
a- He's
Great look, the hair, the facial hair.
He is, while we're doing Mail Form Corner,
Very, very good look.
he really is on like the first team of, I know everyone's listed heights, but then you see them and you're like, man, that guy is bigger than I thought.
Yeah,
He
he's
really
huge,
is.
man. He looks
really is.
enormous. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, prepare to be indignant. The Nuggets are going to suck this year. So
What?
says this one analytics model.
Who?
Not UC Health.
No.
That's not who said it. UC Health. Ready, set, go. We love UC Health. Very excited to be partnered with them right now. And they want to let you know that Coach Prime, he wants to help you and other Coloradans be your healthiest selves as the Chief Motivation Officer of UC Health's Ready, Set, Go Challenge. The goal of the challenge is to get Colorado back to its rightful place as the healthiest state. Here are some things to remember in your health journey, your personal health journey. 8 hours of sleep.
I'm already.
That is the magic number. 8 hours of sleep. Make a good night's sleep a priority. Try to put your phone down when you go to bed. That's
for
a
2.
nice tip from UC Health right there.
0 for 2.
Try guided sleep apps as well. I like that, D-line. Plan your bedtime based on your wake-up time and make sure you get enough time in bed. That's what you want to remind yourself about your sleep routine. If you want to join UC Health's Ready, Set, Go Challenge, click the link in the show notes. Go to www.uchealth.org/readysetgo.
I'm ready to go right now, bro. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K, like their Inner Circle membership program. That's right. You can be a member. You can be in the inner circle. with
Certainly
their
I
friends
couldn't be.
at Circle K. No, you can be, actually. I'll tell you what to do. It's really easy. You just got to download the Circle K app, and you got to look for the Inner Circle membership. Punch in your phone number. You're going to start getting deals. Deals every day on food, drinks, and more. You can get 25 cents off per gallon on your next 5 fill-ups. Why not do that? That's just free money you can save. Find it in the app under Inner Circle offers. And remember, Circle K, made famous by Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. You can be on the inner circle of that. How sick is that? What a treat. Download Circle K app, sign up for Inner Circle with it for exclusive offers, new offers, purchase clubs, and sweepstakes are uploaded weekly.
All right, back here, segment 3. Everybody throw us a like. Don't forget, tune in every day. We're bringing you all these insights on the Nuggets as they get back into training camp and back on the grind. Kevin Pelton, who I like. Really nice guy.
KP.
One of the nicest guys out
Do you
there.
say that
Harrison
after you
knows
say
this.
my name to people?
No, not always.
Before you go too hard in this segment, Kevin is my favorite Twitter mutual. He follows me. I don't think he knows that. I think he muted me. He's too nice to unfollow me. But I don't want to catch his attention. So
boy.
let's try to be nice to Kevin.
To be honest with you, this has nothing to do with Kevin or his opinion.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good. We're
He
safe.
is only using a model that is based on actually Christian Braun, another guy, great analytics guy, created the RAPM player model.
Oh, yeah.
Created this formula now where you plug that in and you spit out how good you think a team's going to do based on their additions and subtractions. And Eric, who do you think they have as the number 1 team in the Western Conference? Oh man, Kel already showed us.
Well, I don't know who the number 1 is, but I would say Oklahoma City.
Number 1, Oklahoma City Thunder at 54 wins, 53.7. So right off top, the model has a low total for the top. Like everyone's going to kind of be more even. We all know injury happens to a team. Things happen and that gap widens, but at least he sees that. Number 2. Anybody want to take a shot at number 2 here?
Number 2 in the West,
Dallas
per
Mavericks.
the analytics. I'm going to say Minnesota.
Incorrect.
Dallas Mavericks,
damn
got to
it.
be.
Dallas Mavericks number 3. Minnesota number 8.
What?
Minnesota 42.5 wins according to this model.
God.
Number 3, Dallas Mavericks. You get one guess. They both
Number
wrong.
2? Who could number 2 be?
I'm gonna play it safe and guess what Kayla's showing me on the screen.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna go.
I have the main screen and guessed, and then I revealed it. It was the whole thing.
It's the Memphis Grizzlies.
It's the Memphis Grizzlies.
What?
And I will say it's funny because, like, yeah, Memphis is a team you can buy like through an algorithm because you go, yeah, all their players are still good, but there's non-algorithm stuff with Memphis. Like, I mean, not to sound too, old head anti-analytics or whatever, but is it just like riding a bike?
Right.
Like
My eye test isn't seeing that.
it's been a minute for Memphis. Now they might just get everyone back and kick ass again, but like things have changed. It's been do they just get right back on the bike? Are they immediately a top 3 regular season team out west? Like you can talk yourself into it because of the players on the roster, but I think they're the number 1 team in the league where you got to wait and watch them play before you know really what's up.
The one example you can point to of this where it did work out is the Denver Nuggets, where Jamal Murray came back and they were suddenly won the title. So it could very well happen. They could very well happen. I don't know what Steven Adams' status is.
He's on the Rockets. That's his status.
Oh, I didn't even know that. But they
Yeah.
do have Zach Edey, which is
note.
another just like obviously big-bodied guy that they're not going to ask a lot from outside of just like pick and roll partner and just being big, which he can do. But John Morant is, I'm going to be curious to see where he's at. I was just thinking, I was watching a bunch of Derrick Rose highlights yesterday, like young Derrick Rose, which again is probably the most impressive physical specimen I've ever personally watched from a body standpoint, just like body control. Like every dunk that he would do was like a reverse, and he had to be mindful that he didn't hit his head on the rim.
It was so like violent and explosive.
And John Morant has some of that.
Yeah,
like he's
definitely.
not.
He's got
not,
a lot
of it.
He's not as stout as Derrick Rose, but like if he can have violent athleticism again, and still like he can still be incredible, and they can go places. I just don't know what to expect from him. Like,
Yeah. Still surprising to see that the model has him. And then like Zach Edey is a major piece there. That's a completely unknown player. And the center spot's not exactly the easiest spot to be like, well, we have a new guy that doesn't really know what he's doing.
Right.
And he anchors our entire defense. So it was interesting. Sacramento number 4, and then Denver all the way down here at 47.4. 47 wins just seems so crazy.
So what was the year that Facu started 19 games? That was 2020, 2021. Denver won 48 games.
yeah, with Facu.
I mean, I think they're just
47.
I think the model's just predicting that the West has like 12 good teams, and so everyone's
Yeah,
going to be.
man, but I just like this is I chose that for a reason. Like since Jokic became this version of Jokic, the very worst roster they could have put around him, they won 47 games
like-
and won a playoff series.
But here's the problem with a model like this, I assume, unless you tell me that it's been accounted for, but it only knows what these young players have been, not what they will be.
What they're capable of being next to Jokic.
Like, we
or-
don't know
yeah.
how much improvement. They're right. Like, if we have Christian Braun, Peyton Watson, Julian Strather of last year still, like, we're cooked. We're in big trouble. But if we have guys that have turned into NBA players over the offseason, which is not unheard of in any way, shape, or form. This is the time in careers when generally that leap happens, if it's going to. Then, yeah, you can't account for that. But this is just, this is like past performance can't predict future success.
Does the model take into account what rookies did in college?
Yeah, dude.
Because I would think maybe that's why Zach Edey and the Grizzlies are number 2. Because you're factoring in Zach Edey's
Yeah.
25 points per game in college.
I mean, I don't think that's how that's working.
I mean, you got to put some stats in for him.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second. Is it possible this is actually somewhat fair? Denver does have some variables this year with some new guys stepping into important key roles. And I think more to the point, 47 wins, I think, is where we're all hung up on, right? That just feels so low. The Nuggets haven't done that in forever, and it feels low. But is it possible that last year with 3 teams at 57 wins, that's just not going to happen, and that the number 1 seed in the West is 54, and the Nuggets could end up being, like a 3 seed at 49, 50 wins, maybe, and that is more realistic of a target we should be thinking of.
Yeah.
I just think it doesn't. I honestly think injuries have prevented people from understanding like what Denver's baseline has been.
I think this is a great
They win
take.
a boatload of games. And for them to not win games, a lot of stuff has to go wrong. And by the way, who is the second best and second most important player in Denver? Everyone? Where I think we're on the same page. Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
He played only 59 games last year. The Nuggets won 57 games.
Right.
Things have changed. Somewhere in here, there's a line for the concern for the
I love
Nuggets.
this.
And I think we've reached it with the regular season stuff. Like, are they going to win the title? I don't know the way I knew 2 years ago, but they're going to win. They're going to win games.
Well, another thing you brought what you just said reminded me. Michael Malone today, when talking about Dario Saric, actually hinted that Jokic might have to rest more this year, like to get more rest games.
Oh,
Because
that's
he
something.
even mentioned about like we can play him next to Aaron Gordon
Yeah.
when we need to give Jokic a break or something like that. And then he also said we could play him next to DeAndre Jordan, which I thought was interesting. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of different factors at play here. But what I will say is I don't think it's that offensive. And if we go back in time, by the way, to last year, Denver was projected to get 46.4 by the same model.
Oh, okay.
So they got 11 more wins than what they got. But Denver was projected to be a 3 seed. And they were a 2 seed, and it only by a tiebreaker, by a coin
Yeah,
flip, right?
yep.
So the model, I think, is relatively accurate, meaning relative to other things, or has proven to be, but the wins are probably going to go up. The Utah Jazz might tank 3 weeks into the season, and it's like, all right, they're not getting 34
Right.
wins or whatever the model said.
I understand like both pundits and formulas kind of being lower on Denver than they've been in the past. That's not a shock to me. I just think somewhere there's a line, and like that's a big drop off, man.
Yeah.
That's a big drop off.
No, I mean, we really are. We're entering into what somebody so eloquently put the other day. Remind them season.
I know. Let's
Ooh.
remind them.
Is that ready to go or no?
Yes. It's,
Oh, okay.
well, I'll just, I mean, not really. It's
Not ready to
it's
go
on
there.
my
I was like,
computer.
Kale?
But listen.
Yeah.
No, but listen,
This
man.
is a reminder season.
People they are sleeping on the Nuggets. They stay asleep. We're going to, the Denver Nuggets, hopefully will show up and remind them that they are a dominant force in this league. They are led by one of the most impactful players that's ever played the game. They have a flamethrower in Jamal Murray, who's been a little extinguished, but you don't lose the ability to shoot like that. We have the heart and the general of Russell Westbrook working in our favor. He's showing up to this team knowing he's going to be a 6th or 7th man. He's not showing up with the expectation he's going to start. Dario Saric is a massive improvement to that part of the bench. Last year, it was just such a question mark who was going to be the 4, who was going to be the 5. There's just a lot of reasons to be excited about this team if you're legitimately paying attention, which you don't expect everyone to legitimately pay attention to every team in the offseason like
Of course
this.
not, man.
Yeah.
So, listen, man, it's easy. The lasting memory of the Denver Nuggets currently is disappointment. And
that's exactly it.
because they were the 1 seed, they lost that ridiculous game to the San Antonio Spurs, which just sent everything into a tailspin. Then it matched them up against the team that was designed specifically to beat them. They lose in the second round. You're like, man, that team's over. It's like, no, man, it was just like,
By the way, did you see Patrick Beverley on his podcast
Yes.
say that? I mean, what a good take by him. That Minnesota was the only team he thinks could have beaten Denver, and you saw how close it was. Otherwise, Denver was going to beat everybody easily.
It was really funny. I think the league feels that way. You know, like often we have our own kind of perspective on Denver, but I really feel like nationally everyone was like, well, thanks, Denver. Boston's going to walk to this now. And it was up to Denver.
Hey, that's what Jason Tatum thought.
That guy knows ball, man.
Yeah, I mean, he has a very good sense of basketball at large. Yeah,
I just thought it was pretty interesting. Another thing I find interesting, though, our long-awaited dispute. Altitude Television
Oh my
is
God.
back. I mean, they've been back for a while on various different platforms, but finally, Altitude TV has announced a streaming option, and let me give you some quick details. It's $20 a month. You get access to Altitude here locally, but also 20 games for both the Nuggets and the Avs. 20 for the Nuggets, 20 for the Avs are just going to be on regular television, Channel 20, their television affiliate partner,
and Channel 9 for free.
for
And
free,
Channel 9, yep.
and 22 national television games, which we already know the Nuggets already have. That means 42 of these games are going to be available if you have a basic. That's more than half the games are available to people that have whatever. And then for $20, an extra $20, you get all of them locally. to me, the media market is not, it's changed over the years and everyone's trying to keep up. This is the best or close to the best possible scenario anybody could have hoped for, in my opinion. And I'm actually extremely excited about it.
I'm really excited too. And, they did it. They finally did it. This is the solution we were all asking for, a standalone streaming service that you can just buy without having a cable provider. And that's what they gave us. And, so congrats to them on getting it done. Definitely a huge success. And, Altitude hired a new president, Kevin Demoff, not that long ago. And, when he came in, he said in his press conference that this was a top priority for him. And he followed through on that. So you got to give credit where credit's due. They did it. They found a solution. I think we still have to see what it looks like and stuff because
Great point.
It's not actually out yet. It's just
roll
been
the app
announced.
out, yep.
But they followed through on what they said they were going to do, and so hopefully we can stop talking about that now.
And I believe Kevin Demoff said as well that they're not done pursuing a Comcast deal as well. So it's a step in it's a big step in the right direction. My big question, fellas, I'm not sure if any of you have found the answer to this. Do I need a pay provider and then I'm also getting the app? Or can I just subscribe to this app? Like, do I need a...
You can just subscribe to the app.
I think you can just subscribe to the app. But I think, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Altitude will still appear through Fubo and the other places.
DirecTV
Basically,
streaming.
yeah. So here's my take on all of this. Is like this has obviously we have been held hostage by this standoff that's happening as a result of a changing media landscape. And why didn't this happen earlier? Well, it didn't happen earlier because the Cronkies built an empire for themselves based on the way that things used to work, was that the cable companies controlled all of the distribution. Like, if you wanted to see something, you had to go through the cable company. So Cronky's like, okay, I'm going to build a television station that then goes through the cable company, but I own the stories of my own team and I can profit by the stories being told from my own team. Then the cable company cut off the water source. So then Altitude is just stranded. Oh, we have this thing that's designed to go on this service that they won't allow us to do without absolutely gouging us. So we have to operate at a loss. So now they're getting to the point where it's been going on for so long. Altitude, I guarantee, has just been hemorrhaging money because they're not able to get advertisers for. You can tell if you watch these games. It's the same 6 ads all season long because I guarantee, have to offer them at a deep discount because they're not being widely seen. They're not being yes, and so. Now there's all these other avenues, and you're like, well, why don't you just make it a streaming service 3 years ago? It's not like this is new technology. Altitude is taking a huge L by doing this. Like, they are giving their product, I'm sure, for basically losing out on revenue on every game that's being shown on Channel 20 for free. Like, they, I guarantee, are losing money. I know for a fact that Altitude has had a bunch of layoffs as a result of this, like in the production department. Like, this is, and so the Cronkies have been faced with this concept of having to deconstruct this thing they built and turn it back over into the wild. Or they can partner with somebody else who then also takes piece of the pie. It's like, it sucks because they built like this big, expensive house on sand, and then the sand went out, and they had to figure out how to do it. It took them longer than you would expect them to, but it's good that people can see it now, but they've been able to see it. So you just have to step up, people.
The part of, because I'm cool about this about just finding it. Look, it's the way the world kind of sucks now with cable. Like, you have to have all these different packages. So that part, now there's a solution there. But what I love, and this is more of an NBA thing than it is a Nuggets thing. Sirens on Colfax.
Hey, we're so back.
Hot take
We're so
alert.
back,
Welcome to
baby.
the season, dude.
Hot take alert.
But what I love about this is that Channel 20 piece of it, because this is how games used to be consumed, man. You just did not
Channel
have
2.
to have. You just tune it on. You mess with the old rabbit ears, and then you get the game, and everybody watches it. And I know enough old people, and when I say old, I just mean merely older than myself.
If
like
you look
Eric,
at me, I'll
for
punch you in the
example.
face. Don't even
old,
look over
just
here.
over here.
My favorite part of this episode, by the way, is when the Blue Chew ad, and Harrison's like, "You get hard," and then he looked at Vote, and that's why I spit my water out. Anyway, keep going.
How are we back to that?
Well, we just know Vote has a girlfriend. So.
What circled you back to that?
I was reminded of it.
I know enough old people that they still still are in the old ways. And like, here's the thing, man. I really believe a team is a community asset. And I think that people being able to watch and enjoy that team, yes, you make money off them. It's a business, too. It's a weird in-between space or shared thing. But there is something, too. It's just cool when people get to see them. And I honestly am so curious to see what the numbers are for these local broadcast games on over-the-air television for everybody. I just want to see, is this a thing where it's like 20 times more people watch this than any game last year? And if so, how exciting. How many times do you have to watch Nikola Jokic play basketball before you're just completely hooked?
Once.
I agree.
Yeah.
A lot of people are about to get hooked.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it, too. I mean, I selfishly, and I know that's not how business works, but I selfishly wish just every game was on
Yeah.
standard Channel 9 or Channel 20, and they didn't even have the Altitude Plus thing.
Aren't they doing that in Utah?
Yeah, they're doing that in
every
Utah.
game available
They're doing
on
that in
standard
Phoenix as
television?
well.
Phoenix
That
and
is a
Utah?
direction some teams have chose to go. Some teams are also choosing to go this route where you have a subscription-based standalone thing like Altitude has.
I would
now.
be very surprised if it didn't transition to fully available on air in the coming years. I think that these are like big rich guys playing a game against each other, and they see what their colleagues are doing. Like, okay, that actually worked well for them to make the product readily available. Like, I'm sure they get reports about how all of the markets are doing, and it's like, okay, cool. We can actually see a direct correlation between merchandise sales and other ways for money to come in by surrendering some of the broadcast money to like a Channel 20 or something. Like, so it's it's not easy, man. It's like very complex, lots of pieces involved. It's like, CB's like saying, why should we feel sorry for Comcast or for Altitude? Josh has built a huge mansion. It's not Josh, it's like the people that work at Altitude that like he didn't want to just like detonate it. Nobody has a job. It's like, it's complicated, man.
Yeah, no,
It
everything
really
is so simple. It's not so simple, man. It's a complicated thing. I'm just more excited for the piece of this that I am connected to, which is I want a lot of Nuggets fans out there. I want everybody to get an opportunity, and this gets us closer than it was by a huge step.
Yeah.
The biggest step of the last 4.5 years.
There's no
honestly.
doubt about it. I wish it was a little cheaper, but I agree with the spirit of the sentiment.
Than $20, you're saying?
Yeah. A month?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a bit pricey.
It's more than Netflix. It's more. It really still puts you into a tier of like you gotta want it to get like.
Yeah.
That's not just a casual subscription. That's
Right,
not-
that's a good point
It's like
about it,
it's like your friend that has like NFL package. It's like that guy like really is into it. He has to pay like $200 a season, whatever it is.
Gotcha.
So it's like not. But the
But I
20
mean, hasn't the argument been like this is how much Comcast costs? I would just pay, for the Nuggets games if I could. Okay, here you go.
Not to mention, man, it's just the
You don't
way-
have to have Comcast.
But again,
you don't
like-
have to have DirecTV. $20 a month for just Nuggets games.
Right,
That's what
but then
people have wanted.
But they are not using Comcast. They have to create their own streaming infrastructure to support this. Like, if they pair with Comcast, the way it's supposed to work is like everybody has this utility. It's like water. Everybody has cable. So us partnering with Comcast is fine. It's almost like putting it on for free. It's similar because it's so
ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if they want to stream with Comcast, somebody that already has that, like they can make it low because that infrastructure they have to build it, so they have to fund it. It's
No,
like
I'm with you. Like
It sucks.
$20 seems kind of fair for me.
My last takeaway on this is Demoff's been around for not that long, right? I don't remember when he arrived on the scene, but it's pretty quick work. And I think there's reason if you're a Nuggets fan to be. It's like whenever new executives come in, what do they really do? It's all behind the scenes. This is kind of an early win. That's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I think it's reason
Yeah,
to be like,
it's a big
hey,
win. I
agree.
something major was addressed in
big
short
win.
order.
Yeah.
Congrats to Demoff and the team for getting it done. All right, what do we got for Super Chat, Scale?
Just a couple today.
James Davis, fellas, in an era where ESPN will lay off Zach Lowe
Didn't even talk about that today.
in a choice of loud and dumb over thoughtful and informed, I'm glad you're here.
Man,
Which
that
one-
means a
Thanks,
lot.
Jay.
Hell
Wait,
yeah.
wait,
It's
wait,
like a spectrum.
I was just gonna say which one are we?
That's the best part of four guys, though. You get to do all of
Yeah, I
it.
mean, we're just waiting for Zach Lowe to join our show.
Yeah.
We're sitting here and waiting.
I was actually waiting for you guys to be more loud and dumb.
You think we're Homer? Zach tried to give the Nuggets 3 titles on our show.
That's true, he did.
Yeah, we're just waiting. We're
just
here.
waiting. Zach-
chilling.
Zach's the GOAT, and I can't believe ESPN. I have no idea what they're doing over there.
Zach, if you're looking for a
I
retirement
heard there's
job,
just going to be a show featuring just Kendrick Perkins.
Just
He's
him.
the only guy on the show.
I heard that they were going to have 24-hour programming starring Rob Dyrdek. Ridiculousness.
No, there was a channel that already tried that.
I did see that while I was in the gym the other day. I was like, "Who? What's the audience for this? How's that
I know.
possible?"
Well, that's the closest comp online with D-Line gets.
That's it. Yeah, but you have you're like, I'll do this once a month at most. Sasha N. Time to go bring in Zach. Oh, we already did this. To bring in Zach Lowe to All City Adams since they let him go. We're on it.
Hey, man.
Yeah,
can dream.
We're
not?
here.
Why
Dream
not?
big.
Oh, you know who we should
we
get?
could make room on this couch for Zach as
You know
well.
what we should get is,
somebody would have to get kicked off, but
Oh, you
we
don't want
could
to
make
squeeze
room.
him in? All right.
We should get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Charles Barkley.
Yeah, man, that'd be great.
We were talking about Alexander the Great the other day. We should get him too.
Nugsy Bogues, unavailable at the moment, says Nugs on local TV can't friggin' wait for it to feel old-timey and just tune in.
Hell
That's
yeah,
a great,
man.
great way to put it. 55 win season incoming, sweet fours, D-line.
Oh, yes.
Thanks for this every day. Thank you for this every day.
Thank you.
Nobody complimented my Hokas.
Can I just say? Can I make
What's
one
with
more?
that?
One more point?
Can I stand up on my soapbox one time?
Oh, do it. That is terrible.
Do not go at the talent of altitude
that's a good
anymore for your frustrations about how these business organizations have been acting with one another. It is so weird to see people get angry and turn on Vic Lombardi, who is an absolute treasure and a gift to the city. Katie Wingy. Like, these people have no control over what business deals have happened. You should understand, guys, people like that spend all of their life trying to give you something to enjoy and like. And when you yell at them for things they don't have control over, it makes me so mad. So please don't do that. Direct it at me. I don't care.
Yell at Eric, man. It's really
I
his
don't
fault.
care.
Yeah.
Yell at me. Leave them alone. Nothing bothers me more on the timeline.
Leave Brittany alone.
That's a great rant, man. Way to get us out on Friday on a nice rant. Everybody, go have a beautiful weekend, man.
It's
Get
Miller
up to the
time.
mountains just if you can. Go leaf peeping.
Oh, I'm gonna peep a leaf.
This is leaf peeping.
I thought we
season.
decided as a group we were going to start calling it leaf looking.
No, but it's peeping, man. Go
with
peep
Eric.
on some
Peeping.
leaves. Hit that like, hit that like on the way out.
We all silly like the mayor.